So here we are, mistakenly at Dante Alighieri High School, thinking that we were coming to speak to all you beautiful people about our experiences of mindfulness. So instead of actually being present, as we are taught to be in mindfulness, we can be present via technology. So we're just going to speak to you about our experiences with the MAC program. So I'll have each student just introduce themselves and tell you whether they were part of the 12-week program and already completed it, or whether they're currently involved in the Mindfulness Ambassador Council. So Dominic, do you want to begin?
Okay. Hi, my name is Dominic. I took the Mindfulness Ambassador program last semester, so I finished the course.
Excellent. Next.
Hi, I'm Bella. I'm currently in the Mindfulness Ambassador program and enjoying it very much.
Hi, I'm Celia, and I'm also currently in the program.
Lastly, I'm Zoe, and I'm also currently in the program.
Wonderful. And these are all 4 beautiful Cardinal Carter students from 4 different art areas. So we have Dominic, what art area are you from?
I'm in vocal.
I'm in visual.
I'm in strings.
And I'm in dance.
So we have a pretty good demographic of what Cardinal Carter looks like. And Cardinal Carter is actually predominantly female as well, so this is pretty realistic. Yeah, so we're going to speak a little bit about just what we found to be our experience with mindfulness. So if you just want to say a few words about your experience with the program. And I'll start this way this time, Zoe.
So my experience with mindfulness, I find that it's allowed me to really take the moment to be calm in a stressful situation. So before I was very frantic and always living a very hectic life, and so mindfulness allows me to calm down in a stressful situation and really breathe and take a moment to gather myself and recollect myself and then continue on my day in a more sensible and rational manner.
Thank you so much.
For me, mindfulness has allowed me to really see my presence more. I can feel the presence of others around me a bit better, and I'm more aware of others and of myself.
Very lovely.
For me, mindfulness has sort of brought to my thoughts. It extends my thoughts on other people and understanding of different point of views of people, which I find is really helpful to, I guess, growing up or being at least in high school. It's very good to see different points of people, different points of view for different people and understanding them in a calm environment when you're in a peaceful state of mind.
For me, mindfulness not only helped me on a personal level, but it helped our class connect more, especially in our grade 12 year when we're all getting ready to say our goodbyes. I think mindfulness helped us with the fact that there's a lot of intimate and close things that we share with each other. I think that really helped secure that bond of friendship between us. And since we did it in our leadership class, it helped us kind of feel more confident in each other, and we were able to do a lot more work together and a lot better quality work as well.
Thank you. Okay, my camera skills are gonna improve here. I'm gonna try and come a little bit closer. Okay, so I would like to know from the Mindfulness Ambassador program, the way it's set up, from the council check-in to the twos of practice to discussing the theme to getting into dialoguing and dyads and triads with your peers and really trying to work things out to our closing of the council. What are aspects of the actual program that we do once a week that you find really helpful or that perhaps you find not helpful to your growth as an individual, as a student, as a grade 12 moving on and out into the world? And let's start in the middle this time. Do you want to begin, Celia?
I really like the dyads and the triads that we do. Getting together with someone that I usually wouldn't talk to and being able to talk in such an open manner about a common topic. You just get a new perspective from someone that you might have not have been able to talk to on a regular basis. It's really nice. Making a connection with a stranger almost, kind of. Yeah.
Thank you. Bella?
I find that the quotes, usually, even though that is a very small sort of detail in mindfulness, is very helpful to me because I find inspiration in a lot of other people, especially in their success, and knowing who the quote came from and the thought that came behind that person. I always find, I always really appreciate hearing quotes like that and sort of dissecting what that quote actually means. I find those very interesting.
Thank you.
one thing that I've picked up on from mindfulness is definitely the Tusa practice. With all the stress that's being pushed upon us grade 12s, I think that it's really important for for mindfulness ambassadors to be able to practice and develop our skills of Tusa and just be able to breathe and let all that negativity out of our lives and just replace it with being, in lack of a better word, mindful in a sense.
Thank you. And Zoe.
I find the dialogue of the themes of mindfulness really interesting because you get to hear the different perspectives of everybody in leadership, like in our leadership class. So you hear the different perspectives of like their experiences with mindfulness and how they relate to like different quotes or different sections of like the mindfulness textbook, I guess you could say. And it just opens your mind to like how people think and allows you to evaluate the way you think and to incorporate the way others think into your daily lives as well.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a very honest question. I'm going to move back here so I get you all in here. Are there things about the mindfulness, and be honest, are there things about the Mindfulness Ambassador Council program that you would like to see changed, or things that perhaps you don't feel work as well as they could? Who would like to begin? Go, you know what? We're going to, as you feel called to speak, speak. Yes, that was very good, Dominic, popcorn style, thank you.
Even though it is pretty like natural what you're saying, it's also something that you have to think about and process and sort of slow down. So I think the way that it's ran is pretty well done.
Thank you.
I think for our setup at Cardinal Carter for mindfulness, like we all sit in a circle and then we have our like speaking pieces in the middle, and I find that it's a very like safe environment. I find with like a regular class where you have to put up your hand and be asked by a teacher to be called upon, that can kind of be intimidating. With this, it's more open, you're not afraid to voice your opinion, and everybody sees each other on an equal level because we're all sitting in a circle, right? There's no level, there's no difference in anybody, and that really just allows you to feel safe and very comfortable.
Thank you.
Yeah, the only bad thing is that we run out of time sometimes.
Yes, we're a very insightful group. Everyone has beautiful things to share, and it's true. Timing sometimes is an issue for us.
I think, if anything, the fact that we do it once a week, I feel like we should be able to practice different practices of mindfulness, like mindful eating or Tusa or anchor breaths, whenever, even twice or 3 times a week aside from mindfulness, maybe in the course of 5 minutes before classes start or something like that. If anything, that could be helpful to our mindful training in a sense.
Thank you so much. Those are really helpful contributions, even for myself as continuing to facilitate the program. And I'm going to ask you one more question. There might be another one, but this is one more at least. You know me. Okay, is there something that you would really appreciate or like to see out of your teachers who are facilitating the Mindfulness Ambassador Council? Things that maybe we can work on developing. And I know you don't have a lot of point of references because unfortunately you've been stuck with just me, but if you could perhaps speak to what might really make a good facilitator, just to help these beautiful teachers who are starting out on their journey.
Are we doing it popcorn style?
Popcorn style, go for it.
Someone who's really genuinely involved. If you really put your heart into it, it shows, and that engages the whole class, I feel like. Like Miss Vanini, you're really good.
I paid them to say that. We're all going out to dinner after this video.
Just being genuinely involved and not just reading off the book really allows you to engage with us as students.
I think also Miss Vanini, she's so great because she also...
They're really going to think that I'm bribing you people.
No, because she allows you to, she takes a step back and allows everybody to voice how they're feeling, and she's not too involved where she's overwhelming everybody and putting pressure on to voice her opinion as to how we should be acting or thinking, but she does voice her opinion in a way of guidance, in a way of helping you improve certain aspects of your life. So it's more of just she's there as a helping hand along the way, but she does allow everybody to voice their own opinion, and that's really great. So somebody who's engaged but not overpowering.
Thank you.
I have a thought. I think I forgot it.
Okay, we'll come back. Dominic, oh, go.
No, I think what was really important to me, even in other classes, I notice is when I say stuff and if the teacher's actually listening to me and taking in and understanding and showing interest in what the person is saying, I think that's probably the most important thing, because students are already sort of nervous to share certain things about their thoughts and stuff like that. And when it's obvious that a teacher or other students aren't listening or paying attention or showing interest in what that person's saying, no one really wants to share that kind of thing. So I think what's really important is that the teacher wants to be there, wants to be with the kids, and wants to contribute and understand what the kid is trying to say, instead of just saying, oh, that's a nice thought, and instead of getting onto a level of understanding with the kid, so the kid actually wants to talk and have a conversation instead of doing a presentation.
Thank you.
And to add on to Bella's point, I think it's an important skill that Miss Manini has is
You
the
guys are killing
ability
me.
for her as a teacher to not be a teacher in a sense. It's that ability to be able to control the group in a sense, she's the leader of the group, she starts the talking, but when a conversation is held out, she becomes, in a sense, one of us, and she partakes in everything, and it really helps us as students to voice our entire, or almost all of our entire opinion, because it's easy for us to share, since it's not like we feel like we're being judged or we're being marked because we're talking in front of a teacher, but we're talking in front of another person just like us who's facing probably similar struggles or going through the same things that we're doing or going through.
Thank you so much. That's very helpful. For sure for me to reflect on and to move forward in delivering and facilitating the Mindfulness Ambassador program. Are there any final comments that you would like to share about mindfulness, or why you really think it's an important curriculum piece for our high school students?
I know for me that I really wish mindfulness was available to all grades, at least from grade 9 to grade 12, because from Carter, our daily lives are so busy and so hectic, and I think if you don't take the time for yourself to be calm and center yourself, you can kind of get lost and you can kind of become overwhelmed. And so I think mindfulness has really allowed me to do that for me personally, but I do wish that it was available to all grades who are feeling just as much stress and have just as many things going on, and so that would allow them to settle down and take a moment for themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah, as a grade 12 student, we're all looking forward to university, college, what we're going to do in our next year. I feel for me especially, I'm looking so forward to the future that I often forget to just stop and appreciate the wonderful things that the present moment holds, and mindfulness has really helped me with that. I think that's really important.
I agree with Zoe, just making it more available to other people, because I've noticed even from my first semester and second semester, I think the amount of stress I can maintain without actually sort of freaking out has changed, because I'm able to stop and sort of think and just calm down even throughout the day. It's a nice sort of break, instead of going, oh, I have math, now I have science, now I have all these heavy subjects that you really have to concentrate. It's sort of nice to just sort of let go of your mind and just let things happen, instead of trying to keep focus and concentrate. I think it's not really a break, because you are still learning, but it is sort of it's a release, a nice sort of calmness. And I think if that was available to at least every grade, or I was thinking even class, more than just leadership class, if it was available to things
Is what you're saying is that we are not working you hard enough in leadership? We can work on that. Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say that I definitely miss doing mindfulness once a week. I finished it last semester, and ever since then I've just been trying to pick up on those mindful habits and trying to remember what I was taught and just trying to live my life according to that. And I feel that mindfulness, even though it's something that's so serious and it's kind of like a cleansing experience, it's an activity and it should still have a sense, it should still be fun. And some of the things that we talked about in mindfulness, they were really close and intimate and sentimental, but some of the things we talked in there, they were just pure happiness and pure joy. And I think that it should still have an essence of fun and something like that.
Thank you.
Would one of the evening caretakers please come to the one of the evening caretakers?
We thought we were going to get through this without any interruptions. So as you can tell, I have a grand blessing to be in the presence of students that are this aware and this mindful. And I know that the program is only helping to enrich that and to help them with their personhood. So as a facilitator, I'll give you a few of my experiential comments about the program. So I'm going to probably do a very not great camera move and pass this along to one of them and join the circle. Okay, so as you know, I am Miss Manini, and it has been my grand pleasure to have partaken in the training that you're all taking part in this year. And I consider myself very privileged to have been awakened to this sort of transformative process that not only we deliver to our students, but that we integrate as ourselves, as professionals, and that it's an opportunity to really develop our own practice as educators. And as Dominic alluded to, that notion that mindfulness doesn't need to take place only in the context of the Mindfulness Ambassador Council, but that it's something that we can be doing even a little bit each day in all of our classrooms. And so for me, it's a really transformative program. Not only has it helped me as a person, as an educator, to develop my own skills and my own ability to be present to my students and to staff and to be a little bit more aware of what they might be experiencing in their own social emotional competencies, but to also elevate the richness of the listening and of the being with the other. And so for me, this program really allows what I believe was the missing piece in Catholic education to come to fruition. And it really is that pastoral piece that speaks to the holistic growth of our students, from mind to body to spirit, integrating it all, to allow them to leave us as the most whole people they could possibly be. And so when I think of mindfulness, I think, and Rita knows this about me, but I often think in concentric circles. So I think of how it helps us to develop ourselves, others, and then the world at large. So for ourselves, I think that mindfulness teaches the students and the facilitators how to truly understand what is going on in any one of our emotional states, but not being controlled by that emotional state. So many of us are dancing around a plethora of experiences in our lives that can keep us high, that can keep us low, that can move us on a plane, but that mindfulness is that ability to choreograph it very gracefully and to move through it with a controlled understanding and a way of being that allows us to be successful no matter what emotional experience we're having in any given time. In terms of other, I cannot speak enough about the way that it has allowed, I know, my students and myself to listen from the various centers of our being. So whether it's from our minds, from our hearts, from our spirits, from our bodies, to really be in communion with the other people that we find ourselves in the course of the day and throughout our lives. And I think on a whole, what it does, it allows us to break down, as we leave our schools and go out into the greater community, it really allows us to break down any barriers or constructs that prevent us from being truly human with one another. And so for me, mindfulness is, as I stated earlier, that transformative piece that allows us to live fully human lives and fully aware of the people in which we share that living. And so I'm grateful to Mindfulness Without Borders. I'm grateful to Diane and to Rita for bringing us all together and allowing us to really experience the beauty of this program under the auspices of the Toronto Catholic District School Board. and I hope that you've enjoyed your training, and we wish you well on your journey.